In wrestling and in life, there have always been what ifs. What if WCW won the Monday Night War? What if John Cena turns heel? What if I didn't get curved on Instagram every time I shot my shot? And back in 2008, there was what if Jeff Hardy was given that main event push? Yo, Jeff Hardy was our guy, and I mean everyone's. Jeff Hardy to this day is one of the most beloved wrestlers ever. Yo, when he came out doing his weird ass dances, you best believe every kid watching was doing it too. Yo, Jeff Hardy was just cool. He wore face paint, he had colorful tattoos, he had those neon arm sleeves, he had a badass theme song, he jumped off everything and anything in sight, but most importantly, he just did his thing. However, the issue was, Jeff Hardy was always seen as that mid-card guy. Due to various reasons, he was always in the IC champion, tag team champion bracket. He was never given those big main event pushes, even though everybody and their mom loves him. To be honest though, it was mostly his fault. He had been a liability for most of his career. However, in 2008, it was time for that push. 2008 was the year of Jeff Hardy. He had ups, he had downs, but it all led to Armageddon 2008, the biggest night of his career. Now, I'm not going to give my opinion about Jeff Hardy's personal choices, what he did after this, his lifestyle, etc. I'm just here to talk about how much of a great moment this was and what built up to it. So, let's go back in time, let's go back to 2008 and see what made that night so special. Dating back to the early 2000s, everybody knew that Jeff Hardy was going to be a star. He was a part of one of the most beloved tag teams of all time with his brother, and whenever he was up against main event talent like Triple H or The Undertaker, the fans were behind him like their lives depended on it. However, issues outside of the ring really messed up his career. In 2003, his issues with drugs really got to him. So Jim Ross, who was the head of talent relations at the time, told Jeff, "Yo, either go to rehab or you're out of a job." Jeff didn't go to rehab, and instead, he went home. He was 26 years old and was supposed to be the future of the WWE, but he had just been fired by that same company. He was young, he was talented, and the fans loved him, but it was over. So this led to Jeff Hardy going to the Indies, and he even appeared at a ROH show, but the fans just hated him. Chants of "you got fired." He was booed out of the arena. Luckily in 2004, he found himself in another company. He found himself in TNA, and he was there for 2 years, and he had a solid run to be honest. But once again, he became a liability. He was still popping pills and eventually began to no-show TNA shows as well. So then in 2006, he was released by TNA. So by this time, he had been fired from the WWE, hated in ROH, and released from TNA, and he was about 28 years old. For all intents and purposes, this could have easily been the end of his wrestling career. All these years, he had still been a liability. But then, the WWE took a chance with him once again. He had signed a contract in August of 2006. So he appeared on Raw and was positioned on the upper mid-card, but people were still not convinced. Here's a quote from Figure 4 Weekly from August of 2006, right after Jeff returned. "Suddenly, who should debut but Jeff Hardy? Yes, God knows how long this fucker will last, and they debuted him as a top challenger for Edge. This month is going to be awesome." Figure 4 Weekly, August 27, 2006. If you couldn't tell, that was sarcasm. But Jeff, he lasted, and he did his thing, and of course was once again a fan favorite. For the next year, he won the Intercontinental Championship 3 times, competed at a WrestleMania, and clapped Edge. He even became tag team champion with his brother once again. And towards the end of 2007, it had been a year since he'd been hired, Jeff found himself in a #1 contenders match for the WWE Championship, Armageddon 2007, Jeff Hardy vs Triple H. The fans at this point were 100% behind Jeff. Everyone loved him, but everybody knew that there was no way he was going to beat Triple H. The match happened and they went at it for 15 minutes, back and forth, and Jeff Hardy won with the roll-up. Even Triple H had a surprised look on his face when Hardy won, but it was awesome, because nobody expected Jeff Hardy to win. Nobody. So this led to him versus Randy Orton at the Royal Rumble 2008 for the WWE Championship, and the build was awesome. So Orton at one point made it personal by punting Jeff's brother in the head and sending him to the hospital. Yo, the punt kick was such a great gimmick, like that shit was fire. Anyway, Jeff got revenge by doing a swanton off the top of the Raw stage in an iconic Raw moment. When it was finally time for the match, people backstage were even campaigning for him to become the WWE Champion. The same man who had been fired 2 times up until that point by 2 companies had people wanting him to be champion backstage. Here's a quote from that week's Figure 4 Weekly. He had so much momentum going into the show that there was a faction led by Michael Hayes of SmackDown who suggested putting the title on him and going all the way. What a difference a year can make. And they had an awesome match. And Jeff Hardy, even though it was his first big pay-per-view title match, he didn't seem like he was out of his league. He held it down. He was on the cusp of winning the title until Orton caught him at the right moment with the RKO. Hardy showed the world though that he was main event talent, which I think everyone knew, but it was more, like I said, about him being the liability. But he just had so much talent that it was hard to ignore. Things were looking amazing for Jeff. He proved he was main event talent, he was still the IC champion, and was even in a feud with Chris Jericho. But then he got suspended for violating the company's wellness policy. Everything was going so well. He had everything going for him, and then this happened. And people were so disappointed in him. Look at these old forum posts that I found from the day he got suspended, and just look at these reactions. What a fool. I really don't see why WWE persevere with him. It's not like he'll go to TNA and draw money. Get rid of him. He's dead weight. Are you seriously kidding me? Jeff, you fucking moron. You were in the middle of perhaps the single most important push in your entire career and you literally wasted it. As harsh as those statements probably sound, they were valid. And things just got worse for Jeff. That same week, his house burnt down. All of his possessions, everything was burnt. And sadly, even his dog passed away. It was a rough time for Jeff, man. In June of 2008, Jeff Hardy was drafted to SmackDown, and this is where it all began again. In September of that year, Jeff Hardy found himself wrestling for the WWE Championship once again, this time in a championship scramble match. Going into the match, Triple H was a champion, and the match consisted of 5 wrestlers and had a 20-minute time limit. So wrestlers would fight and pin each other to become temporary champion throughout the match, and whoever was a temporary champion at the end of the 20 minutes was declared the real champion and the winner of the match. So Jeff was a temporary champion 3 times in that match, but he was in a constant battle with Triple H. Hardy would get a pin, and then Triple H would get a pin. They went back and forth. And with less than 15 seconds left, Triple H hit MVP with a pedigree, but at the same time, Jeff Hardy hit a swanton bomb on Shelton, but Triple H got the pin 1 second earlier than Jeff and won with the buzzer beater. Jeff Hardy was 1 second away from becoming WWE champion. But it was fine. This just made the fans want to see Jeff succeed so much more. The fans just got louder and louder every time Jeff came out. Everyone was pulling for Jeff. They wanted to see him after 10 years finally get the WWE championship. So Triple H was a WWE champion, the same man who Jeff Hardy beat in 2007 to become the #1 contender. But could he do it again? Could he beat Triple H one more time? Because the thing was, now it was a different ballgame. Now a championship was on the line. Now there was pressure. That's what made the storyline so awesome. We knew Jeff could beat Triple H because he did it back in 07, but could he do it now? And Triple H, who was the champion, he knew that Jeff Hardy was a threat. It was all about if Jeff could finally pull it off. So Jeff Hardy then won a fatal 4-way match at SmackDown, and it was going to be him versus Triple H one-on-one for the WWE Championship at No Mercy. Everyone was hoping maybe this was it. Maybe that this was going to be the night that Jeff Hardy was finally going to get the title. To really understand how popular Jeff was and how people were behind him, before the match there was a vote. You had to text in your answer. It was basically, who did you want to see win the match? Now mind you, Triple H is one of the most popular wrestlers of all time, one of the most well-known wrestlers, and Jeff Hardy beat him in the vote 72% to 28%. So Jeff came out to a huge reaction, and so did Triple H, and they shook hands to start the match, but Triple H got in the cheap shot and tried to roll up for a quick 2 count. Mind games. This match is one of the best matches of Jeff Hardy's career. What was awesome about this match was the way it was booked. The match had to show that Jeff Hardy wasn't some fluky lucky contender who would get his ass kicked for 20 minutes and then somehow do a few comeback moves and win. He needed to be on Triple H's level, and that's what he was. For 15 minutes it was back and forth action. And then at the end of the match, Jeff Hardy hit him with a twist of fate. He then hits the swanton bomb, so he goes for the cover, 1, 2, but Triple H reverses it into a roll up, 1, 2, 3, and just like that, Triple H won the match. Triple H had to get the fluky lucky win. He was the one who had to steal the win from Jeff. And what a match it was. Jeff Hardy was so close and Triple H knew it that he barely got the victory. This match was just so good. Jeff showed that he was a main event player, and Triple H was the one who had to steal the win from Jeff. And the support just increased for Jeff. Just like how SpongeBob and Patrick needed water in Sandy's dome, the fans needed Jeff Hardy to win the title ASAP.
I need it!
But Jeff just couldn't get it done. He had another attempt at Cyber Sunday 2008 and he failed once again. He was so close, but he just couldn't do it. Maybe Jeff wasn't ready to be champion. Maybe he was just an upper mid-card guy, a good hand who could have a match with anyone, sell a bunch of merch and call it a day. But yo, the fans love this guy like no other. Night in and night out, all you saw was everyone wearing Jeff Hardy merch. See, older viewers liked him because he was from the Attitude Era, and the younger kids liked him because he was Jeff Hardy, so everyone just loved him. And also the most important part was, it was organic. He wasn't pushed down anyone's throat. The fans just legit loved him. So the support never stopped. If anything, it just kept on getting stronger and stronger. He told Vicky, the general manager of SmackDown, "Give me one more chance and I'll beat Triple H for the title." And Vicky straight up said, "You don't have what it takes to be WWE champion." Sorry Jeff, close but no cigar. But then again, that's the story of your life. And then she says, "Also, you're not even that extreme anymore." And then Jeff Hardy went crazy. Jeff was obsessed. He went wild. He started crashing the Triple H and Vladimir Kozlov contract signing. He jumps on Kozlov and puts him through a table. And then in the middle of his tag team match with Triple H against Miz and Morrison, he just randomly got chairs and just started wilding out on them, chasing Morrison out of the arena. Kozlov and The Undertaker had a match. Jeff Hardy just casually walked in there with a chair and just beat up both men. He was beating up The Undertaker. He did not give a fuck anymore. So this led to an Extreme Rules match with The Undertaker on SmackDown, and he did everything he could. He hit Undertaker with chairs and canes. The fans were so behind him, they were cheering him over the damn Undertaker. And he beat The Undertaker, even though it took an interference. A win was a win. He pinned him in the ring 1, 2, 3. Vicky then said, "Okay, if you beat Triple H one-on-one next week, it will become a triple threat match at Survivor Series." And Jeff Hardy actually got the win. He beat Triple H and he got his match. So Survivor Series, it was going to be a triple threat match. Kozlov versus Triple H versus Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy finally had one more shot to become WWE champion. The only issue was the WWE did an insane, crazy, just wild angle. So a report came out that Jeff Hardy had been found unconscious in his hotel room and that he wouldn't be able to compete in the match and he had been rushed to hospital. A lot of media outlets actually thought this was true and AOL was reporting it and stuff, but this was just a pretty bad storyline. Like, why would you do this with a man who you know has issues? I think Dave Meltzer explained it the best. A number of well-known WWE stars have died in hotel rooms. Others have overdosed but survived in hotel rooms. With his publicized 2 strikes, Jeff Hardy would be high on anyone's list if you were to predict a future WWE star suffering that fate. That made this one of the worst taste angles around. So they took him out of the match and it was a one-on-one. Kozlov versus Triple H. And man, for 13 minutes, they had one of the most boring matches of all time. But then Vicky came out, excited, cheering, and the fans are all wilding. And all you hear Vicky say is, "He's here, he's here, as planned, as promised, this will be a triple threat match. He's here, here he is." And then came Edge. The ultimate opportunist Edge walked in looking like he was there ready to murder everyone in sight. He looked like a psycho and he had a deadly beard now. He goes in that ring and hits Triple H with a spear. He goes for the cover, and then out of nowhere, out comes running Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy ran to the ring and just started attacking Edge with punches, and the crowd was going absolutely nuts for Hardy. Hardy grabbed a chair, he went inside, hit Kozlov with it, hit Triple H with it, but he turns around and bang, Edge hit him with the spear. Edge then sees Triple H is dead because he got hit by the chair. He goes to pin Triple H, 1, 2, 3, and Edge won the title. Edge simply walked in, took advantage of the situation. Jeff Hardy, who had been there for months just grinding, wilding out, doing whatever he could to become champion, didn't matter because Edge just casually walks in, takes the title, and leaves. And the worst part was, it was Jeff's chair shot that won Edge the match. Jeff Hardy failed once again. For the next few weeks, every week there was some beef going down. Triple H and Jeff Hardy kept trying to kill each other. Jeff Hardy thought that Edge was the one who attacked him, but Edge kept saying, "It wasn't me, it wasn't me. It was the person who had the most to lose. It was Triple H." But Triple H simply tells Jeff, "You were never a big enough blimp on my radar to warrant an attack." And things just got personal. Jeff Hardy hated Triple H, he hated Edge, he hated everyone. All he wanted to do was be WWE champion. He didn't care who he had to beat or what he had to do. It was going to be a triple threat match. Armageddon 2008. Jeff Hardy versus Edge versus Triple H. Jeff says he doesn't care if he walks out or crawls out, he's leaving champion. And Triple H says he doesn't care if Jeff shows up or not, he's leaving champion. And Edge just attacks both men whenever they least expect it. You had the underdog, you had the ultimate opportunist, and you had the mercenary. At this point, it was now or never. Could Jeff finally get it done, or was he simply not a main event player? This was it. This was going to be the biggest match of Jeff's career. After 3 failed attempts, after 4 WWE title matches in 2008, it was the last pay-per-view of 2008. It was his last attempt at the title. He had to win. The fans were still behind him, but now it was time to sink or swim for Jeff Hardy. So here we were, Armageddon 2008. So Edge came out to enormous boos, Triple H came out to mostly cheers, but Jeff Hardy came out to the loudest pop of the night. It was clear who everyone wanted to win the match. As soon as the match started, Jeff went right after Edge, since the consensus was that Edge was the one who attacked him. And these three had a great match. There were some wild spots. At one point, Triple H had Edge in the electric chair drop position, but out of nowhere, Jeff Hardy from the top rope did an insane whisper in the wind. Early on, it seemed like Jeff was about to do it and pull it off, so he hit Triple H with a swanton. 1, 2, but Edge pulls him out of the ring, and after that, Jeff just got destroyed. So there were 3 announce tables, Raw, SmackDown, and ECW, so Triple H and Hardy were fighting in the middle one. So Triple H was about to kill Hardy. He's going for the pedigree, but Hardy reverses it and goes for the twist of fate. Triple H pushes him out of the way, and then out of nowhere, Edge spears him. Edge ran from the first table onto the second and speared him through the third, straight into the table. It was awesome, but Hardy got clapped. Triple H takes Edge back into the ring, he grabs him and he hits him with a pedigree, and it's like, alright, it's over. Goddamn, Triple H was going to win, wasn't he? But then our Lord and Savior Vladimir Kozlov shows up to break the pin, and he starts attacking Triple H. But then Matt Hardy shows up to fight Kozlov, so Triple H is down outside, Edge is down inside the ring, and Matt Hardy and Kozlov are fighting. And then somehow Jeff runs in, goes on the top rope, and he's about to hit Edge with a swanton, and the crowd is going nuts. Jeff is about to win, but goddamn, Vlad pushes away Matt and then pushes away Jeff from the top rope. I thought you were our savior, Vlad. So Matt and Vladimir Kozlov end up fighting and going to the back. So it's back to 3 men in the match and they're all down. So Edge and Triple H are slowly getting up and bam, spear by Edge. 1, 2, but no, Triple H kicked out and Edge is shook. He just hit his finisher and it didn't mean anything. So he goes to get chairs and he wants to finish this match and he wants to end Triple H's life. So Edge gets the chair, he places one on Triple H's face, he gets the other one ready and he's about to mash Triple H's brains in. But then Jeff Hardy comes in, takes the chair from Edge and bashes him with the chair. Triple H then knocks off Hardy and then hits the pedigree on Edge. And then it was going to be over. Triple H had knocked down Jeff, he hit his finisher, he goes for the pin. 1, 2, but then from the sky, swanton bomb, he breaks up the pin, Triple H rolls out, he covers Edge. 1, 2, 3. Jeff Hardy won the WWE Championship. After a 10+ year career, after everything that happened to him, from firings from 2 different companies, getting booed at ROH, getting suspended, houses burning down, after all of that, after failing to win the title countless times, he finally did it. Jeff Hardy won the title. And what a moment. The fans were going insane and Jeff was going insane. The passion, the excitement, you could see how much this meant to Jeff. Jim Ross on commentary was going mental. We saw his evolution. There were people who were kids when he started wrestling who became adults and they saw him grow up and we grew up with him. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a beautiful moment. And Jeff's reaction was everything. So many times a wrestler wins the title and it's just whatever, let me celebrate, let me put my hands up. But here Jeff was wilding, there was passion, because this moment actually meant something to him. He had to fight to get here, he had to overcome a lot to get here, and it was just a special moment. There are so many signs like, "Thank you, Jeff, we believed in you, we love you," and everyone was just going insane. And like I said, man, it was just special because you can tell by Jeff's reaction how much this meant to him. He celebrated with the crowd, everyone was having the time of their lives, and everyone was just happy. People weren't even leaving, they just wanted to see him celebrate because they waited so long for this and they were so happy for him. And listen, regardless of what Jeff Hardy did before this or what he did after this, whatever happened to him, his lifestyle choices, whatever, at this very moment, at Armageddon 2008, that didn't matter. Jeff Hardy was king. And that's what made his win so special.